Hello, my sentient noodles, and welcome to this week's episode of SCUBA, where we dive deep into history and current events. I'm Hailey, a junior at WCWT Centerville, and joining me in studio today is the stuffed shark I made while panicking about hosting today. Welcome to the Cryptid episode. Now strap on your air mask, check your flashlight batteries, in 3, 2, 1. It is 1966, and the Cold War has been ongoing for almost 20 years. The horror movies of the era are focused on conspiracies, unlike the monsters of the past. Your name is Linda Scarberry, and you're 19. You married your high school sweetheart, and you're out driving with another young couple. It's November, and it's dark. Looming out of the night is an abandoned National Guard armory and defunct power plant. Perched on the roof is a hulking, indistinct figure. You tell your husband Roger to slow, and you squint at the thing. Painfully, slowly, it quivers and stretches out a pair of massive wings. You catch your breath as it opens piercing red eyes and takes flight, clumsily running to gain momentum, but graceful in the air. It is caught momentarily in your headlights, and the Mothman is caught in all of his transfixing, hairy, vicious glory. You half expect him to disappear, but no. The Mothman follows, helicopter-like, and easily keeps pace. You're urging Roger faster now, faster, but even at 100 miles per hour, you cannot outrun Mothman. You and your friends are the talk of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. The now infamous newspaper article provides more confusion and questions than answers. Couples see man-sized bird, creature, thing? Suddenly, everyone has seen Mothman. Another man comes forward, claiming his German Shepherd ran into the woods after glowing red circles and never returned. Story after story surrounds you, and the world believes. You wish you had never seen it, that someone else had. You are rattled as the world obsesses. Another local journalist called Mary Heyer gets close to you and your friends. She was also thrown in over her head overnight, writing articles about the winged, red-eyed thing chasing Point Pleasant couples across the countryside, and later joins forces with famed New York-based paranormal journalist John Keel to write the Mothman prophecies. Mothman is seen over and over for a year until December the 15th, 1967. You're anxious to put the entire thing to rest, but the sightings keep coming. He is seen near a bridge, which collapses later that day due to a tiny defect. He seems to lay low after that, and you never see him again, distancing yourself the best you can. He is still seen, but occurrences get fewer and fewer until you pass away in 2011. Mothman is my personal favorite of the cryptids, although his eyewitnesses seem the most horrified. Something about the concept of a massive winged humanoid that still loves porch lamps is so deeply funny. Mothman has been proved and disproved 1,000 times, and we're still not sure. The yearly Mothman Festival was held on September 15th through the 17th this year in Point Pleasant and attracted over 15,000 people to the small town. It's shifted in tone over the years, now more fixated on fall fun and the sharing of cryptid-themed art than proving or disproving Mothman himself. He's been spotted thousands of times in his 57 years of the public eye, but no definitive proof has come to light. In an interview with Joe Nickel, who is an investigator with the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry, how do I get hired by them? He claims that Mothman is really an owl. Barred owls are a likely suspect and have dramatic red eyeshine, which is the term for the reflection of eyes you see looking at a cat or a night bird, given to them by a high concentration of blood vessels in the head. The only problem with that? Barred owls tend to be 17 to 20 inches long, a far cry from Linda Scarberry's alleged 6 or 7 feet. Nickel addressed this issue, driving people down dark roads lined with Mothman cutouts of various sizes. Not one person guessed the size correctly, so the owl is a viable explanation. But is it true? We will be right back after the Mothman song, Believe in the Power of Mothman, by the paranormal song warrior, who is a true believer, claiming the Mothman's good intentions and warning the people of Point Pleasant about the bridge collapse, and arguing that he is not, in fact, an owl. Do you agree? Stay tuned to SCUBA, and we'll keep talking cryptids.
Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman. Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman.
Well, he's 7 feet tall with eyes of red, and if you don't listen to him, you will end up dead. He tried to warn everybody, yes he did, about how they were in danger from a broken bridge.
Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman. Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman.
Mothman Mothman, Mothman, I believe in ya. Flying round that town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, with your bright red eyes and gigantic wings that make me wanna sing. Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman. Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman. Well, this ain't no sparrow and it ain't no owl with its high-speed flying and its high-pitched howl. It's not a hawk, not an eagle, not a bat, nor a pheasant. It's the Mothman of Point Pleasant. Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman. Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman. Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman. Believe in the Mothman.
Welcome back, everyone. Now it is time to discuss arguably the most famous cryptid of all time. That's right, Bigfoot. It's 1924, and you're a miner called Fred Beck. You're staying in a cabin you built with 4 other men up in a gorge in Washington State. The 5 of you are bedded down for the night when suddenly your handmade cabin is bombarded on all sides by heavy stones. The sound is deafening, and you fumble for your rifle, firing off a warning shot as your housemates struggle to consciousness. The attacks cease, but begin again before long. You catch a glimpse of what you can only call devils of the mountain, massive, hairy ape men with wickedly strong arms and eyes that are intelligent but not intelligent enough. Your volleys of gunfire seem to scare away the ape men for a moment or two, but they always come back. Not long before the sun rises, an ape man rushes your cabin and shoves a long arm in through a hole in the poorly made and now damaged wall. It flails for a moment, splinters digging into thick flesh, and then seizes an axe someone left on the table. Panicked, someone shoots at the arm. Was it you or someone else? And it withdraws, leaving the axe behind. As the day breaks, you and your allies edge out of the cabin, finally going on the offensive and driving the ape men away. You are safe until you see another ape man standing on a cliff's edge. You quickly fire on him, and the man topples into the ravine below. You don't find the body. Grateful for your lives, all 5 of you emerge from the cabin, and you start writing a book, guessing that the ape men could be from another dimension. Thankfully, that is the last you see of them. Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the Yeti, one cryptid, many names. The most commonly caught on camera and definitely the most famous. Descriptions often echo the stereotypical Neanderthal, though they vary widely. What's consistent, though, are the disproportionately long arms and, of course, big feet. Bigfoot sightings have been reported for as long as human memory stretches back. There are glyphs carved by the Yokut tribe, indigenous to current Central California, that depict the Sasquatch, and they're between 500 and 1,000 years old. We have been telling these stories forever. Is Bigfoot's longevity a testament to his existence? Well, there are nearly as many explanations as there have been sightings, and each is more plausible than the last. It's not uncommon for humans to be mistaken for Sasquatch. Hunters have been shot more than once, as well as hermits or feral people who may be living the best life out there. Anyhow, there is a nationwide edict to not shoot Bigfoot if someone believes they have seen one, on the chance that he is a human in the woods. Another explanation is that Bigfoot is a misidentified ape escaped from a zoo or private collector. This theory is a bit more far-fetched than some of the others, i.e. how do you lose track of an entire ape? But it is possible, and would explain a great deal. Biologists have argued that the American South could, in theory, support a population of apes. The final explanation for Bigfoot we're going to touch on today is the one I find most reasonable. Bears. The American black bear is the correct size and shape, and may walk bipedally. Viewed from afar, they're a convincing Sasquatch and are definitely a factor in sightings. That being said, there have been Bigfoot sightings in places without black bear populations, forcing us to come up with other explanations. So Bigfoot, a favorite cryptid with a host of explanations. Just how many sightings have been pranks? WCWT Jr. Grayson Zellick, a professed believer, said in an interview, "It's gotta exist. There's too many sightings and even government cover-up. If it isn't a lost species of ape, it's an alien just as likely." Well, regardless of his existence, Bigfoot's a favorite topic for songwriters everywhere. Here's Grayson's original song, Got Yourself a Bigfoot.
There's a hairy man standing over there, and he's not wearing any underwear. yourself a Bigfoot. Boy, he's got some big old eyes, and when that bright moon shines, I bet you'll hear his cries when he's about to plot a deer's demise. I see his eyes shine underneath that big green pine. Grab the camera 'cause he's all mine. You know what you got? You got yourself a Bigfoot. You know what you got? You got yourself a Bigfoot. He can get you wherever you go. He is quite a scary fellow. In Australia, he's called the Yowie, with a voice like David Bowie. In Sumatra, he's near Pendeck. Boy, he is a pain in the neck. I see his eyes shine underneath that big green pine. Grab the camera 'cause he's all mine. You know what you got? You got yourself a Bigfoot. You know what you got? You got yourself a Bigfoot. I see his eyes shine underneath that great big pine. Grab the dang camera 'cause he's all mine. You know what you got? You got yourself a Bigfoot. You know what you got? You got yourself a Bigfoot. You know what you got? You got yourself a Bigfoot. You know what you got? You got yourself a Bigfoot.
Like what you heard? Tune in to Amped Up, the open mic sessions on Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m. to hear more from Grayson and his co-host Paige, covering hits live on air. And now, of course, we can't leave out our home state hero. This time you're a police officer called Mark Matthews. It's 1972, and you're working a graveyard shift when your coworker radios in. He was driving near the Little Miami when something too big to be a lizard and too small to be a human scuttled across the road. 3 or 4 feet long, its leathery skin thrown into sharp relief in the headlights. He froze, staring at the creature, and it hurriedly climbed the guardrail and disappeared into the night. You brush off the sighting. It was late and dark, and on-duty officers have seen what's not there 1,000 times. 2 weeks later, you're driving on patrol in the same area and see roadkill. You stop by the side and step out, planning to move the lump of flesh out of the road. But as you approach, it lunges at you. Not roadkill, but possibly a roadkiller. You pull your gun and hurtle backwards as the lizard thing rushes under your car and then over the guardrail again. You fire a single shot and the lizard thing stills. In shock, you lift the thing into the back of your cruiser and rush back to the station. Once you're there, you and the officer decide that the thing is a tailless iguana, possibly a pet that was released when it was too big to care for. Still, that doesn't explain the odd crouching gait or the historical accounts of frogs walking upright. So the Loveland Frogman is far from famous, but he's an Ohio classic. His first sighting was in the 50s, and he is still regularly seen today. Loveland, Ohio established him as the town's mascot earlier this year, and festivals are held yearly to honor the frog. The biggest explanation for the frogman is, like I said, simply a runaway iguana that's lost its tail, and I can confirm that the way they run is a special kind of horrifying. Frogman sightings do tend to vary greatly, probably the most out of the cryptids we're talking about today, but they are nearly all along the Little Miami River. There have been no threatening encounters with the frogman reported at this point, and so he is iconic and well-loved in the Loveland area. And now here is Love the Loveland Frogman by the Cryptids Are All Right.
Let me tell you about the loving frogman. Must be a wizard, he can use a wand, man. Oh, he makes sparks in the dark, in my heart. I love the loving frogman. Cops don't like the loving frogman. Can't arrest the magic amphibian. Oh, he makes sparks in the dark, in my heart. I love the loving frogman.
Indie artists everywhere love our cryptids, and so lots of the songs out there are a little bit on the lower production value side. Still, I love me a good indie. Moving forward, though, we have one more cryptid to discuss, and I can guarantee you've heard of this one. Your name is Mrs. Margaret Spicer, and you are a London native visiting Scotland on holiday with your husband. It's mid-July, 1933, and you are traveling between towns on a warm evening, when not 200 meters ahead of you, there is a thing dragging itself across the street. First, you see a trunk, long and gray and glistening like a wet elephant, before a massive body heaves itself onto the road. The creature is nearly 8 feet long, limbless, and has a small, dead creature in its mouth. Your husband gasps and you pull close. It's a living being jerkily emerging from the underbrush and lurching into the water, disappearing with hardly a ripple. It moved quickly, and you could not see details, but you know that you have seen the Loch Ness Monster in all of her legendary glory. You stay still, stunned, for a long moment, but when it becomes clear that you will not be seeing the monster again, you continue on. The people in Foyers, the next town in your stop, ridicule you. People have seen Nessie over and over again, but never on land. As your vacation ends, you return home, pretending nothing happens, and you don't hear another word about the Loch Ness Monster until the next year. In January of 1934, a veterinary student sees the creature on land again, and then in the summer, a housemaid. She sees it lounging on the shore this time, rather than simply returning to the loch. She claims to have seen it sunning itself for upwards of 25 minutes, and other eyewitnesses report a dent in the shingle. No conclusions are drawn, of course, even as you read pages of newspapers desperate for more information. You don't get any. So while Bigfoot is the most widespread, both historically and geographically, Nessie is even more iconic. The first recorded sighting was in 565 AD, and it's a beautifully preserved Latin manuscript. There are now 1,153 confirmed sightings, both on land and in the water. At this point, Nessie's existence is basically confirmed, though the theory of her being a plesiosaur was a wash. Some of the most famous photos have been ousted as hoaxes, oddly shaped driftwood, or even a Labrador fetching a stick on a late-night walk. Hunting Nessie is a popular pastime in Scotland, and the tourism industry is booming. In 1934, several dozen men stood stakeout, inspired by a book written exploring the possibility of her existence. Photos were taken, but disproved, and now lost. Allegedly, they show a seal. The Loch Ness Phenomena Investigation Bureau, or LNPIB, was instated around 30 years later, lasting from 1962 to 72, funded by the World Book Encyclopedia. Again, they managed to gather no conclusive evidence. Countless sonar studies of Loch Ness have been done since the technology was instated, and over the years they've collected what they call proof, though it's almost always unsubstantiated. Almost every study done has returned the presence of a large something, with dozens claiming to have found flippers or tails tucked into the silt on the bottom of the lake. Loch Ness is far from crystal clear, and the murky waters tend to conceal anything beyond extremities. So there's no plesiosaur hidden in the depths of Loch Ness, but what has been found is an abundance of eel DNA, a likely perpetrator of the Nessie sightings. No reptile DNA surfaced in the study, and that has generally ruled out Nessie, the giant lizard. Still, there is something in Loch Ness, and it's been seen again and again. Now, stay tuned for Nessie's anthem this week, Loch Ness Monster by Alistair MacDonald, and then we'll get into why. I hope you like Celtic folk, because we had to go back to the classics for this one.
You'd be convinced by this time there's no monster in Loch Ness. The Cockneys laugh and say, "Go down off my you think. These great big hairy Ireland men take far too much to drink." But there is a monster in Loch Ness, I'm telling you no lie. She's got a neck that's long and thin and 100 metres high. Whoa, and 100 metres high. But one wee wily Glasgow man believed the thing was true and knew that if he found her he could make a bob or two. So we came up to the Highlands where the purple heather grows and the hairy haggis dances while the bonny bagpipe blows. He asked in Drumnadrochit where her Nessie could be found, or was she just a fable that the locals put around? "Oh no, she's not a fable," they told him with a smile. "Just stand out by the water and you'll meet her in a while. Aye, there is a monster in Loch Ness, I'm telling you no lie. She's got a neck that's long and thin and 100 metres high. Whoa, and 100 metres high." He met the beastie that he had come to see. She said, "You're welcome, laddie, would you like to stay for tea? I rarely dine with monsters, but I don't mind if I do. Pray, what is on the menu?" And Nessie answered, "Yeah." Aye, there is a monster in Loch Ness, I'm telling you no lie. She's got a neck that's long and thin and 100 metres high. Whoa, and 100 metres high. And then the Japanese turned up with tackle by the ton for an underwater photo, but before they had begun, the noise of their arrival made poor old Nessie groan. "Oh, wind, shook your Jackie, I just want to be alone." Oh, there is a monster in Loch Ness, I'm telling you no lie. She's got a neck that's long and thin and 100 metres high. Oh, there is a monster in Loch Ness, a fact we'll never hide. You'll see her when the moon is blue and the pigs fly far and wide, and the pigs fly far and wide, and the pigs fly far and wide. No lie.
So the big question today, why cryptids? Well, welcome to the first Scuba episode of October, and we're trying to take a spooky lean. But beyond that, the search for Nessie is still ongoing. Although so many of our cryptids have been disproved, they all have faithful followers, and the Loch Ness monster tourism industry contributes as much as £41 million to the Scottish economy, $52 million in a year. A massive rally effort was launched in early September and featured hundreds of believers from across the world searching with sonar equipment, thermal imagery, and more. 8-year-olds and 80-year-olds alike came together, with one girl reportedly telling a journalist that she believed that Nessie was tucked in the bottom of the lake, feeding her kids and waiting until they all left her alone to go out for a swim. Over the weekend, no one found Nessie, but is that really the point? The rally brought families together as they hunted down the Loch Ness Monster, and it's bound to have inspired a new generation of cryptid hunters. So personally, I don't believe in the cryptids I discussed today. I think they're a vital piece of folklore and bound into our societal consciousness, but there have to be logical scientific explanations, and a man that's a moth coming from the depths of hell or the stratosphere just isn't it. It's not it. But if you're tired of the skeptic's point of view, though, you will love Ghost Hour. Every Friday at 10 a.m., listen to Sayla Corin and Katie Hatfield as they not only talk cryptids, but also true crime and ghost stories. Thank you all for listening to Scuba on WCWT 107.3 FM Centerville, the voice of the Elks. And I'm afraid now it's time to return to the surface. But first, let me ask, do you believe?